All right. So so we're going to revisit a lab that you did in the previous course. And it's the possession lab. And the document may have changed from the previous course to the previous course. This document may have changed, but the idea is that in the level you've got 3 different player controllers. Sorry, not 3 player characters, and it can be possessed by the player controller by pressing the 1, 2, 3 keys. And then there is ideally, I think the extra credit is on begin play, get the pawn that is spawned in the world. Use the player controller to get the controlled pawn. Store that in the variable. So basically, this is we are duplicating this blueprint code essentially in C++. The one thing, and let's go back. So so the one thing that we can't do as written is that those 1, 2, 3 keys were, I think, pretty much done in the level blueprint. We don't have access to that. We could do that in we can do that in our character, but we still don't have access. The reason they were done that in the level blueprint is because we made references to those characters in the level blueprint and used them when we use those references to call I'm blanking. Made those references to call them on the possession call. Instead, we're going to create a new class, and I'm actually going to go into. Let's bring up Unreal. So we're going to create what's called a robot holder class, and it will end up being. It'll end up being in the name of a robot holder. We will need to include the Kismet gameplay statics. I believe we can just do this. We'll need this in the C++ side of things. So let's just jump into our development. I still have a bit of a delay with Visual Studio. It should be not as bad. No, let's make a new level. Great, there we go. Now let's just make sure our world settings are set up correctly. First person game mode, yes. So if I go press play, I'm doing this with the first person, and that's okay. First person, third person won't be that big of a deal. I mean, ultimately what we are going to do is we're going to put in 3 copies of these guys. And so if we press play, what that should look like. Are they not even showing up? Oh, that's not cool. All right. So to help make our lives easier in terms of this assignment, because I'm doing, if we were in the third person mode, this would be simple. Go into your first person character. Open the full blueprint editor. Thank you. Go to the viewport and just add a cube. Make it 0.5. So we can go back. So you can see that now they all have cubes. And that's going to help us so that we can then go in. We can click on them, go to details. Give me a little more room here for one moment. Go to the cube. And then we can give these different, so gold. Uh-oh, do I not have the static? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. I was in static mesh here. I mean, I could go and give them different shapes, but I'm just gonna go, here we go. Here's green. Make this one silver, and then I'll make this one this cube. And the shape again. Here we go. So I've got all of these in play right here. So silver. So we can see at the bottom there'll be. So if I press play, I can't see the cube, but there you go. You can see the cubes here now. And then obviously ours is going to be white. So we have a way to identify them. The goal here, the next step basically is going to be, we're going to create, let's go to our C++ class. Let's create tools. New C++ class will be an not an empty. It'll be an actor because we're going to be able to put place in the world. Doesn't need to be a pawn because we're not going to control it. So we'll just say next, and this is going to be the robot holder. Create class, and it will end up being a robot holder when we create the class. So we'll create it. And Visual Studio has popped up on my other screen. So it's not operating nicely at the moment. Upload. Stop it. Why is it not on the screen correctly? Show log. Yes, what's going on? Clear the log. Why did it? There we go. There we go. Compiled this time. All right, we're good. All right, so let's go to our content draw. Let's go to our C++ classes. And here is the robot holder. And for our purposes, we can just drop this into the world. let's go back to our C. Let's see if we can get Visual Studio to behave. There we go. Robot holder. All right. So we are going to need a couple of variables. It's going to be a robot 1. This would be U property. We'll do edit anywhere. And watch that not be correct. Oh. We'll save that. Yeah. All right, good. So if we go to here, we can now assign, so again, here's the first person character. Oh, come on. I'll lock it for this time. And then I'll assign this one to there, and you can see that it took it. So now we have reference. So we have reference to that from that in the scene now. All right. So let's go back to Visual Studio. We're just going to grab these 2 lines of code. Two, 3, and spawned. Okay. So we'll be able to set these in the editor, but this will be the one that we spawned in with. So we'll save that. Go back to Unreal. Just compile that. All right. So we now have the references to those. So we can now assign that to number 2 and then just to number 3. So far so good. All right. This is where I've given you code already. So one of the first things that we're going to do is your character. So we're going to do our work in the character class. Of a member variable to the holder class. So the first thing that we do want to do is, come on. Why are you doing this? Okay, so development character.h. I want development character.ccp. All right. So first thing is what we want to do is put in the Kismet gameplay statistics. here. Yeah. I'll go down to here at the bottom. So again, as we've added functions, we will go in. It'll be U property. And it's going to be a robot holder. And it'll be lowercase robot. So we're gonna. This will be public, but basically that by having this set up this way, we can save that. What did we do here? We added that, so that we can now begin play. So the first thing that we are going to do is get the holder. And we're going to grab all this code right here. Come on. All right. So this is the line of code. So the U gameplay statistics, that's what we added. We're going to do get actor class. We ask the world. It takes a reference to the world, and then it's looking for the static class of a robot holder. And I know this is convoluted, but that's how this function works. It returns back a generic actor, so we are casting it to the robot holder class, which is odd that we have to do this, but that's it. Now all of them are going to say robot spawn is equal to this. This should that's not exactly how we would want to handle this. This is what we do want. Is that the correct? Just make sure I've got the correct variable name. Yeah, robot spawned. So let's go back. What do we need to check before we do this? What's the difference between what's in the level and between the one that gets spawned?
You need to check if it's null or if it's not null.
No. It right now if we compile the code as it is standing right now, all like the three in the world and the one that gets spawned, all are going to try and set this line of code. But what's different between the one that we start with versus the ones that are in the world? There's a single difference between the two.
It's not already in the world. It's
not already in the world, but that is why we have to assign it. But the one that's in that spawned in the world, what's specific about that one?
It's already possessed.
Possessed. So how do we know how it's possessed? What was that? Speak up. But how do we, here in the code, how do we know that this version, so we've got four instances of this class in the world. One of them is possessed. How do we know it's possessed? Because it's a simple because it has
a player controller.
And that basically, it's going to be, we'll do a controller. We want a capital C. Controller, we'll call it boss. It's equal to this. Get. controller. If boss is not equal to null, and it's actually not a controller, but it will be a pointer to a controller. So if the boss is not equal to null, then we know that we're the one and that's where this line of code then now becomes, we take that out there, drop it in there. Let's just make sure. And the one thing, again, if you look right here, we can grab, actually, let's get that line of code. So two things. It was a controller. Well, that's the first thing. And then I was using reference notation, not the pointer notation. So I wasn't. So I should have been using the arrow. So that was the two things I did wrong when I wrote that line of code. We can save that. Let's now just jump back into Unreal. And I'm gonna click on my robot holder, and I'll press play. And oh, I didn't compile the code. That's why. Stop. Now I compile the code. Ooh. 77. What did I do wrong? So, robot holder. Oh, develop. No, it's in the development character. Development character. Missing semicolon before. Why is this? See if that was the first issue. No, why is it not liking that? So let me just bring up the output log. So it is yelling about syntax error, missing semicolon before the unexpected preceding. Why is this yelling at me?
I ran into that yesterday. I just put class before the data type definition. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't know. It doesn't know. Let me see. Yeah, we need to tell that force the compiler to recognize the type. So first thing we're going to do this. If this doesn't work, the next is basically it's a include. Hold on. There we go. I can close. Save. Save you. Save all. Let's go just cut. Yeah, I need to save the file. So this is going to be the possession lab. Okay. Let's compile. This may be that doesn't work. Yeah, it's still yelling. Okay. Come on. Okay, go to the robotholder.cpp. We go to the top. There's the include.robotholder.h. That's what we need to copy. Come on. And we'll just go back up here. And after the log macros. So basically these include files that we want. We want to, add, as we add files, make sure that the includes are above the generated.h for the class. So basically we needed to basically tell the class that this class exists. Yeah, welcome to C++, everyone. Okay. And now we compile. Uh, 47, 50, 59. Okay. Oh, because I named it differently, that's why. Yeah. Lowercase holder. That's what I named it in the code. So the variable that I was supposed to use here is different from what was in the CPP file. Okay, save that, and now. Come on. Why is it complaining about this being? It's odd. Okay. Oh, no, no, I'm using the wrong, hold on. I'm using the wrong, should be null PTR. There we go. I should be using the null pointer, not the null. All right, go back. Still yelling about that line. Let's try this one more time. There we go. So after a couple tries, we finally got it to compile. All right, so now if we do this, we press play. The robot holder. Really? We will come back to this one moment. But effectively, what we need to do is I'm going to just do the first one. Let's go back to our code. Come on. Here we go. So put in the code for select one. I'm going to grab this line. And I'm going to save this and go back to my .h. We can take out there we go. Don't know if I need to do anything. I don't think I need a U function on this right now. I mean, I could make it blueprint callable pure if I really wanted to. Don't need to because I'm only going to use it in this side of things. We can come back and add that later on. But let's go back to the .cpp side. Let's actually go back. Let's go back to Unity. Unreal. Let's go to our input. And let's put in a new action. Input action. So select one. And pretty much I'm going to keep this action description one. Select first actor. And it's going to be a digital bool, and so I'm not going to touch anything else here. I don't need to. I'm just going to save this. I am going to go in back, so I'm going to close this, go back to the content draw. I am going to go back down to the default mapping, and I'm going to add in select one, and be the one key on the keyboard. So we've got that settled in. it's in there. It is. Okay, good. Here we go. So I'm just going to grab this whole line right here. I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to call it select robot 1. Just so that we know that move and look, looking for a input action value. So basically, it is going. We're just going to grab this and add that into select 1. Go back to the save this. Go back on this CPP side, and then go in and paste that in. So far so good. Let's go and compile the code. Show log. Why is it? Oh, I've got the wrong character. Hold on a sec. Yeah, here we go. This is the correct. There we go. So I copied what was in the class name that was in the example code. Didn't match the class name here. So that's the issue that we were facing. Now that we've fixed that issue, we can close the log, compile. Why is it not showing me the log? Okay. So I'm, again, don't have names that I used in the example code and the names that I've used here are not matching. So we go back to the .h. It's just robot 1. So we go back to the .cpp. I can just take out, there we go. Again, this is why you debug, this is why you test. There we go. All right, the one thing that I do need to do is we need to go back to the blueprints. We need to go back to the first person character. Where are the... Take a look at the code just quickly. Category input. That's what I thought. Events. Where are they? Oh, I'm looking at the cube. That's why I'm. Here we go. Mesh. Character movements. There we go. So I was looking at one of the subcomponents, not the class itself. Again, here select robot 1, and we can now assign that to oh, there we go. Select 1. And I'll compile. And we can actually go back to save everything. We'll press play. So the first one is, I believe, yeah, so the silver one. So if I turn left right away, so basically, I'll press play, I'll turn, so there's nothing there, I'll hit 1. Oh, I didn't bind it, that's the issue. There's one more line of code that we need to do. Grab this line of code. And I'll put it up here. Okay, so it's going to be, what do we call it? The wrong class. And I probably should put select robot 1 action, but I'll leave that for right now. All right, so what we want is the select robot when it started. So this is when it started. And then we're going to bind it to grab this right here, the class and the function name. We'll see that. We can just replace that. And so now we're saying that, hey, when it's triggered, call this function essentially. Ampersand, again, we're getting a reference to that function. Yay, C#. I mean C++. I'll save this. We'll go back to the editor, compile. There we go. I bet you I'm trying to compile too fast. I think there's something that Visual Studio is doing. All right, so we jump into game. Again, I don't have it. You can see that I've jumped, and there now it's taken place. That's interesting. That's so. And there's the code that we can write. Hey, if we have a controller already, if we're already, we're controlling this object already, we shouldn't be, we've know which object we're already controlling type stuff. But that's your assignment in a nutshell. I will send in a notification about the spawn robot. I'm not sure why. I think I'm acting too soon for that code to be. I'm probably acting too soon for that variable to be assigned. That's what I'm thinking. But we can one of the things we could do is go, hey, is this variable assigned? If so, if it's not signed, then before we switch, get our controlled pawn and put it in there, and move on with what we want to do.
Is there not an invoke function in C++? We can just call it at a delay.
No, I think the issue is that when it is being called, like when this is the object's being created, it's not being controlled yet. Is what I'm thinking is what's going on. Through again, this is through the automatic spawn system. It's a timing issue, and that's why it's not working. Because when that line of code is being called, the actor hasn't been controlled yet.
It's like the script execution order, right?
Yeah, sort of script execution order. I gotta think about how what's the correct way to handle this. But again, I've got the other robots working. So again, this was always extra credit. So it's a matter of, we'll come back. We'll come back to this. The solution might be that we have to build a gate, like use the tick function on gate, and have it call, basically move that possession, assign that to its own function, and then call that with like a gate to do a do once gate, or a boolean.
Like if you press 1, 2, or 3, it'll call that function.
Well, no, that 1, 2, 3 will call that. Well, I mean, 1, 2, 3 should probably end up have to call that function.
Mm.
That's probably the better way. Actually, that's probably the way to do it. Is have the 1, 2, 3 call that function to make sure, then do the check there. Actually, that is probably our solution. Hold on. be a little slightly different. Then we need to grab this whole thing. Go back to the .h. Select one. There you go. Okay, so we'll call this again. That's a great solution, is to have it again every single time. We'll have to check it, but that'll be okay. It's a slow issue. The issue is basically if so the first thing is basically if we'll go to the holder spawn. PTR. Actually, if it's not equal to null pointer. So we'll just return. So if there's something there, then we know this has already been assigned. We don't have to do anything else. Then we can go grab the boss. No, we can actually then all we have to do is grab this line of code. Yeah. Actually, let's make this even. I mean, this will work. The other way is to equal this null pointer, then put that inside the if statement. So. We can go back. We can press play, and then we click 1. It's not assigning it to Y. It's because I haven't compiled the code. Go back to Visual Studio. Everything is saved. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll press play. And we'll jump in. It's still not signing it. That's interesting. I put it in where spot, didn't I? Way. Holder. Let's see what happens. It goes this way. Holder.h. It should be edit anywhere, yeah. I'm going to have to come back. I'm not sure why this code's not running. It's odd that it's... Let's try just putting this inside here. All right, so I've kind of shown you how to do the assignment. I know I've made mistakes along the way. Hopefully that will help you understand, like, hey, like this is a class. This is a... Oh, it's running. That's why. There we go. Oh, okay. Let's try this one more time. Here's the robot holder. There we go. Okay, it is now. Shift F1. We look. Actor game, Possession Lab, COD. That's what was spawned in. There we go. And that should be... It's bigger. Yep, 0. Okay, so it is actually now working correctly. I had the... remember, I had locked the panel, and I think that was part of the problem. So the code actually did work ultimately, and this is a we can test this and go back to where I had in the begin play and test it again. That might have actually been working, but I had the editor locked, so it was doing weird things on me. So, but moving on, we've got the code working here at least. Your job is to implement all 4 buttons essentially. Now that I've got one up and running, the other is just copy and paste code. Change names. That's pretty much what we do. Assign things in the blueprint class. That's pretty much where we are at this point. So, any questions about this assignment? Yeah, it's a familiar assignment. We've done it already in blueprint. It's now, again, the big thing between what you did in blueprint and what you did here is that we had to create a new class to hold our information. And we jumped through hoops using the gameplay statistics class to get actors of that type to get a reference in each of our character classes. So, any other questions? All right, I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to upload it.